got a scratch, Willow. Second gear scratch. Oh, got a stoplight. I thought he was gonna make it all. We never make these lights, do we?
Never do, no.
Greetings, automotive enthusiasts. Today we have for you a 1978 MGB Roadster. These cars are such an icon. I mean, from the late 60s or mid 60s to the early 80s, actually, the British Roadster was just a cultural phenomenon. What's really cool is, I mean, this basically paved the way for the Miata. You know, the Miata is basically a recreation of the British MGB Roadster, and I mean, look at what the Miata's gone on to do. But really, I mean, this is kind of the Roadsters, the little small British Roadsters. I mean, they started, way earlier than this, but this is really when they became mainstream, when the world really embraced the British Roadster. I'd say really the 70s, the British Roadster ruled. Because, I mean, you think about it, the Triumphs, the MGs, the Alphas, everything in the 70s was just big and fat and heavy and slow and gas guzzling. So, I mean, the world really just embraced these cars. It was a lot of fun, in a really dark time of automotive history. These are no real, barnstormer performance-wise. I mean, this thing's 1.8 liter four-cylinder, 85 horsepower, like I think 103 foot-pounds of torque or something like that. Weighs like 2,300 pounds, so not heavy, but not really light. I think the top speed is around 100 miles an hour. But it's fun. I mean, it's one of those cars where, it doesn't accelerate quickly, but you never have to really lift off the gas. You just kind of drive them through the corners, and they're just a fun, spirited car. I'll be honest with you. I've always kind of thought of cars from this era. I've just kind of, not been down on them, but just kind of like they haven't really been my favorites. But I got this car, and I've been driving it around, and I mean, I've had a couple of these MGs years past. I mean, probably 15, 20 years ago. And, but I hadn't really been in one recently. And once I got this car, I just kind of got back in, and I'm like, I really enjoy driving this. Maybe I'm older, and, maybe I just enjoy putting around and enjoy the car for what it is more. And that was probably the buyer, when the car was new. It was probably somebody in their 30s or 40s or whatever. But, it was about $5,600 new. So they were fairly, affordable, not dirt cheap by any means, but, I doubt kids bought them. I wouldn't think so. I really don't know, but this is a really fun little car. I love this color scheme of this car, this white with the white and gray accented wheels. It's just a really pretty little car. I know the early MGBs are the chrome bumpers, with everything else, the early chrome bumper cars are always the more desirable, but I think these cars are definitely coming into their own. And I think they actually did a really good job of integrating the rubber 5-mile-an-hour crash bumpers into the design of the car. They gave it some style. It's not just a ugly tacked on bar like most of them did. It actually has curves to it and style to it. So, and I'm a sucker for white cars with white wheels, and this car definitely kind of falls into that category. But neat thing about this car is, and I didn't even know this was a thing, but this car has factory air conditioning. So it's mostly all there. I think there's a one AC line missing to the condenser, but it could be made to work. I mean, we're not gonna, because the next person might not care at all about the air. So the next owner, we'll leave it to them whether or not they want to resurrect the air conditioning. But just the fact that it even has it, and it's 98% there, is really, really amazing. It'd be interesting to know how common that is. I would think it's very uncommon. Let's zoom in here on this car. So this car has been repainted. Somebody's kind of done a little light restoration to it. Done a really good job. It's not a show quality or concours job, but it's really nice. Looking along the bumper here, the bumper is in really, really good condition. These are usually got gouges and warped really bad and all that stuff, but this little guy here is really nice shape. I mean, I remember when I first took over the salvage yard in the early 90s, I had a ton of leftover. The place that I took over, the salvage yard, they were huge in the British cars. I mean, there was Triumphs and MGs and everything. The yard had a lot of stuff in it and a lot of parts on the shelf. And so I actually sold a lot of British parts when I first took over. And then they just kind of faded out. And I remember one time I had a guy come in and I just made him a package deal and I sold him all the British parts off the shelf. And yeah, he's probably made a killing on that over the years, but there was a lot of good stuff there. And I just made him a package deal and he bought everything. But yeah, looking this little guy over, really not a lot. You can see a little bit of overspray on some of the moldings. Like I said, and it wasn't like the car was completely stripped down, but they did a good job. I noticed one little bitty crack in the paint right here, pretty minor, but overall the metal's really, really straight. Don't see any hail or anything. And this car's just been washed, you know. It could, if you did a paint correction and stuff on it, you can see the swirls. This car could be brought out even to a higher level really easily. But right now, the white doesn't show much. And, you know, I'm just gonna drive this car. So that way I kind of don't have to worry about it. Can just kind of enjoy it. The wheels are really nice. I love the design that they did on the wheels. The tires are like new. I'll see if I can find a date code on them here in a minute. But looking down the side of the car, and I'll kind of go underneath the car here too once we do the outside. But very straight. I mean, you look down it, and that guy is straight. I think this was a really good car to start with before it got repainted. It wasn't some butchered up, rusted out piece of junk. I think this was a good car. Wow, there's really not much to note on this car. Pretty amazing. There's the right rear wheel. Some pitting in the chrome there. Obviously they refinished the wheels. Look at the wheel arches. There's a little bit of paint chip right there. Really nice. Coming around here, the top is really nice here. We'll put that up later so you can get a full view of the top. Rear taillight lens, very good condition. Luggage rack's kind of cute on it. You really kind of need it on this car if you're gonna go anywhere because there's not much storage space in it. Once you're in the car though, it's actually a pretty comfortable little car. Go across the deck lid, there's a little scratch. That might buff out. Right rear taillight is clean. And then I'll show you the bumper. Once again, the bumper is in really good condition. Not warped or gouged. I remember when I got this is a local car I found, and remember when I got the call on the car, and they're like, "Hey, we want to sell our MGB. Can you come by and take a look at it?" And I'll be honest with you, I was kind of like, "Oh, really?" I'm just expecting it to be like every other clapped out, rusted, hoopty MGB. And when I came up to the car and I saw the car, immediately I was like, that looks really good. And then when I drove the car, I was like, man, you got a deal. Really, really happy with the car. We put some new belts on it. Alternator belt was pretty cracked up. Had an exhaust leak, so pulled the exhaust manifold off and put new exhaust manifold gaskets on it. So that's nice and quiet now. Wow, this car is really straight. I haven't really looked at it that close, to be honest with you, since I got it in. I got it in and, you know, it's kind of dirty and kind of raining and stuff. I actually drove this thing around in the rain and everything. And a little scratch right there. So I just kind of drove it, and then I sent it over to one of my detailers and just told him, I said, hey, just give it a quick little buff and touch up, nothing fancy, no, you know, paint correction or anything like that. So, and then it came back, and then I was busy, so we just put it inside the storage and covered it up. So this is kind of really the first chance I'm really getting to look it over close, and boy, the more I look at it, usually it's the other way around. You get them cleaned up and you see everything, but on this one, I'm pretty happy. Got some wiper marks in the windshield. No cracks or anything on it, definitely serviceable. All right, we got the hood up here. Now, I have not cleaned underneath the engine bay of this car. Honestly, I'm kind of afraid to. British electronics don't have a history of being the best electronics in the world, let alone getting them saturated wet. Even if I'm careful, I'm just kind of a little bit nervous to spray water in here. I know this stuff's not really sealed up very well. Here's our original stickers. You can kind of see, like I said, it's original white car. And you can see, like I said, where they painted the fenders. Hood's nice, the pad needs replaced. But, and then you can see like where that paint's cracked, you can see there's really no damage. There's our AC compressor, and I believe it turns. I don't think it's locked up. I can't do it with my fingers, I don't get all greasy. But I think the compressor turns. So there's a line right here going from the dryer, probably goes down to the condenser. That line is missing, but that's really the only thing I saw really missing. Everything's kind of here, you know, just bone stock car. There's our little heat thermal warm-up regulator deal. It just runs like a top. Somebody looks like they've converted it to a more modern alternator. That's always a good thing. A little bit of oil seeping from the, looks like the valve cover sealing washer, maybe the cap. Pretty nice and original under here. It's kind of a, for a simple old car, it's kind of a spaghetti mess there, isn't it? You'd expect it to be a little more simple, but anyway, it's all good, it all works. All right, I'll show you in the trunk and the interior. All right, back to the trunk area here. And there is some really nice factory, I mean, they look like factory floor mats. I don't know if they're the original or not, but they're really nice. And they fit the car perfectly. I got them in the trunk here so I can show you the car carpets without them being in the way. Go ahead and set them out. Now here is a little top boot cover. It's in really nice shape. Now when they changed the top, this top they changed the fastening style. So instead of snaps, it's got these little button hooks, or I don't know what you call these, but the boot cover is snaps, and this new top is a different fastening system. So they kind of made the top, I was gonna put it on, but basically it doesn't work with those type of snaps. So unfortunately, you'd have to change the top to be able to use this again. Some jumper cables, so here's your spare wheel. Some jumper cables, I'll take those out of there. Always need a good set of jumper cables. And what do we got here? Some little extra fluid. What do we got here? Oh, okay, this is cool. All of the pouch here and all the jack stuff. Oh, there's the jack. Oh, that's kind of neat. It's got its original little pouch. Don't really need these items in here. Brakes work perfectly fine. So here's the boot cover. Showing you the trunk here. Bungees. Should have cleaned this up. A little bit dusty in here, but you can see all of the metal. Everything's really nice. The floor, no rust, no collision damage. Very good, solid car. If anything, that boot cover makes a nice spare cover. All right, here's the top. We'll give you a quick little walk around to the top so you can see what it looks like. It's in really nice shape. Obviously, it's been changed. Could use a little bit of polish on the plastics there to kind of brighten it up to make it see a little bit better, but most of the time you got the top done anyway, but it's definitely in excellent shape. Opening up the interior here, the door panels are in nice condition. The seats are good. They're not great. There's a little tear in the vinyl there. The padding's broke down a little bit. So, I mean, they look decent and they're serviceable and you don't really have any problems, but they could use new covers and pads to be really, really nice. Here's the floorboard. Here's the carpets. The carpets are in good shape. I think they've been replaced. They seem pretty modern to me. So I'm gonna say that those have been replaced. Steering wheel is in good condition. Could use a little cleaning. Miles show 76,000 miles. I would probably say that's accurate because, you know, people didn't drive these cars every day. Little armrest, cute little MG knob. All right, check this out here. We got the hot and the cold, and your knobs there. Aftermarket radio. Can't remember if that works or not. Oh, there we go. No volume. Okay. Yeah, looks like we got no volume on the radio. So turn this deal off here. So check it out. Here is our AC control switch. There's our fan, and right here, British Leyland air conditioned. There's a factory badge, and here's more of the AC. So here's the AC fan over here. So all the gauges work. Temperature. Oh look, the clock's working. How cool is that? Has a little bit of a little cover lay over the dash, so assume that there's cracks underneath that dash. I'm not gonna peel that off. It actually does a really good job of integrating and kind of hiding it. Visors are in nice condition. Same way on the passenger side. Nice condition on the visors. Little cubby hole back here. A little bit of storage, so it's got some storage. Throw a gym bag or a small overnight soft bag, something like that. Here is the data plate. Go to the other side real quick. Our passenger door panel. It shows a little bit of age, but it doesn't show any flaws. Passenger seat, kind of more the same. No damage to the cover, but it is broke down a little bit in the foam pad. Again, not really an issue, I would say. Here's our carpets, good condition, replaced. Look, there's our evaporator. That's all here. There's the vents right there. One vent right here and one vent right over there and two vents out the middle. So they've done a good job of integrating the AC on this guy. Okay, open the glove box here. Got the original owner's manual. What else is in here? Mask and a flashlight. And a pair of pliers. Made in the USA. Kind of nice pliers. Okay. Put that back in there. All right, well there is our, well let's do this here. I'm gonna go ahead and crawl around on the underside of this guy and show you underneath the car. Wow, very nice. Very nice indeed. This is an exceptional car. See the factory pinch welds. So, I mean, there's no Bondo there at all. Look at the wrinkles in the metal. I mean, this car is fantastic. Wow. I have not been under here. I mean, I looked at it when I bought the car, but actually with the phone and the light, and you can get it down even lower than looking. It looks really good. Look at those fenders. This is a completely rust-free car. Holy cow. There was an oil leak too when we got it. When they fixed the exhaust manifold, they fixed the oil leak. I'm not saying that there's no leaking oil at all, but there was a good oil leak that did get fixed. It was kind of wet underneath there. I'm not sure what it was. I could find out more information. So it's still going to have oil, you know, the old leaking oil is still going to be there. I doubt they did a lot of cleaning to it. That's usually my job, but I'm showing you what we got. That underbody is fantastic. Left rear quarter, and then we will go for a drive. Boy, everybody. Doesn't really get much better than that. All right, let's go take a spin. Polo and I are strapped into the MGB. Say hi, Polo. My cameraman, he lives dangerously. Well, Polo, we were talking about. Go ahead and roll your window up. Polo was talking about when I drove by. He says, "Man, that thing sounds really good," and actually, it was accelerating pretty good. So. I mean, I assume this is stock, but honestly, it's a little more brisk than I really anticipated. Got a great sound to it too. So here we go for the drive. So there is on the front suspension. It does need some work on the front suspension. We are going to be working on that. I gotta get it over to a shop and have them tell me what all the parts we need and everything. So the good news is actually a few months ago, you know, I was telling you that I used to do a lot of British parts and I had a whole bunch of them, and then I haven't had an MGB for years. And I'll be darned if about 3 months ago I didn't buy a complete MG parts car, MGB just like this. This has a brand new motor in it, and the motor looks new. The car's rusted, you know, like they all are, and but it's got a new motor in it, and so I've got a full parts car, which is kind of nice. But like I said, it's got some clunking up in the front suspension. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but we will get that taken care of and get it nice. It drives fine. There's just a rattle, kind of a clunk, you know, a ball joint or a kingpin or something like that. So we will get that resurrected. But other than that, though, the brakes, here we go. We got a scratch, Polo. Second gear scratch. Oh, got a stoplight. I thought it was gonna make it all. We never make these lights, do we?
Never do. No.
That gives us a good chance to accelerate again. Although, you know, I looked up the 0 to 60 time. 14 seconds. About 100 mile an hour top speed, which I don't know that I'm going to go much faster than that with one of these anyway. But what was the other stat? So 0 to 60, 40 seconds. And the quarter mile, I think, was 19 seconds or something like that. Again, it's not about acceleration. But this car does run very well. Clutch is great. Obviously, we got a second gear scratch, so clutch is good. Here's our bump here. Woo! Not too bad because we're not going that fast. And then, so cruising along here, and it actually drives good. It doesn't pull. Brakes are good. Just got that suspension rattle, but other than that, it's all good. I mean, the oil pressure, temperature, yeah, good little car. I like it. There we go. I mean, actually, it gets up pretty good. We're doing like 70, Polo. Oh, man. I think this thing's probably, honestly, the 100 mile an hour top speed, I bet you that's RPM limited.
I'm sure it is. I mean, there's gears on the inside.
It's short.
Really short.
Yeah, definitely short. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, This is a fun little point-to-point car, you know? And here's our famous turn. Hey, nobody coming. Was he in our lane? I got a lot of people laughing about that. Man, this car runs good. The torque is good. 85 horsepower, but it did have like 103 or 5 foot-pounds of torque. And that's what really matters. Man, this thing drives great, Polo. Yeah. Okay, let's do this. The British saying. Oh, I mean, it's 60s technology, leaf springs and so on and so forth. I mean, but I tell you though, I mean, there's been a lot of people that have done a lot of successful racing with these old British cars. Strip them down to nothing weight and put some suspension and tires on them, and
I mean, these have been some of the, because you could buy them so cheap, right? So these have been some of the best club racers ever, you know. So people could buy them and race them and crash them, and it was a lot of fun for the money. I mean, there's a little bit of rattles with the doors and stuff. I mean, it's just, I mean, it's not a super tight car, a little bit of rattles, but honestly, it's pretty darn fun. I like it. I like it. The clock's even the clock's on perfect time. That is crazy. This is a good little car. A perfect driver, you know?
Yes.
And you can, and this car, I mean, you can take to the car shows. It might not win any car shows, but it sure wouldn't be embarrassed either.
Yeah. So this would be the perfect car to be on Dragon Douglas back in the day.
Oh man, or even today. Here we go. Our little S turn. Woo! I like it. This car just puts a smile on your face.
It does.
I like this thing. I can't believe I'm saying that because I didn't even want to go look at it, you know? I was like, man, I don't. Well, because a lot of it really was, I expected the condition to be, you know, not very good and somebody wanting a lot of money for something that is, I don't even want to touch. Because it probably cost you more to restore one of these than what it's worth. Although that being said, go look on Bring a Trailer. The values of these things are really starting to go, and that might be where we send this car. As rust-free as it is, with a great color combination, factory AC, 70,000 miles. I think this is a quality. Somebody could take this and make a show car out of it.
Yes.
And what a great place to start. This is a nice little hum to it, doesn't it? Well, hey, we appreciate you guys riding along, as always. Look us up, EuroAsianAuto.com, EuroAsianAuto on Facebook. Like and subscribe. Hit that notifications button and leave comments. We always love comments. I look at all of them. So hit that notifications button, because that way when we load up a new car, you'll get a notification. And because you never know when we might find your next dream car. Have a great day and happy motoring.